So the trailer starts with a spoiler warning for all the fans who haven't watched the Avengers Endgame yet, and so will be this video. Spoiler warnings ahead, and do not proceed if you haven't seen Endgame yet.
But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer.
So in the aftermath of Avengers Endgame, we can see that Iron Man is being mourned and paid tribute to everywhere around the globe in the form of murals, candles in front of his picture, and drawing on the wall boards of Peter's classroom. This indicated the fact that everyone knows about the sacrifice Tony made in Endgame and he's gone now. These scenes also remind us of this scene in Infinity War in which Thanos says to Tony Stark,
"When I'm done, half of humanity will still be alive." I hope they remember you.
well, guess what, Thanos? They did. Then, the fight sequence that followed, we can see the policeman asking Spider-Man, who by the way is sporting the new Iron Spider suit in this trailer rather than the previous one which we saw in the Homecoming or in the teaser trailers. So, the policeman asked Spider-Man, "Are you going to be the next Iron Man then?" On which Peter made a funny comment saying he's too busy doing their work. Here, if you notice the number on the collar of the policeman says 116, which can be a hint to a future villain named Smasher, which was introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, number 116. In this scene, the man hanging in the middle can be clearly seen wearing a leopard print pants, which could be a hint to another villain named Sergei Kravinov, aka Kraven the Hunter. He is the half-brother of Dmitry Smazdyakov, better known as Chameleon, who has the honor of being the very first supervillain Peter Parker ever fought way back in Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the comics, not the movie. In the next scene, we can see Happy convincing Peter to pick up Nick Fury's call. And here, if you take a good look at the poster behind Happy, you can see the name Crusher Hogan written on it, who is the man Peter Parker first fought during the testing phase of his superpowers, which we can see in this previous Spider-Man movie clip. Now, instead of talking, Peter put Fury's call on voicemail, which makes Happy so mad. Now, thinking of it, I personally find it really strange, as we all know Nick Fury doesn't call ever. Even in worst cases, he just use pager. He just have the habit of popping up into random places to give a surprise heart attack to people, which we can see him doing in this next scene where he just shows up with a dart gun, tranquilizing Ned and telling Peter that
you're a very difficult person to contact,
Spider-Man.
beneath Venice, Fury introduces Parker to Mr. Quentin Beck, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Fury says that Beck is from Earth, but not ours. He continues to detail that the snaps from Avengers Endgame tore a hole in our dimension, which hints us at the existence of multiverse and opens further options for the studio for Spider-Mans from other dimension and universes to make a collab with our Spidey, as we saw in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is an awesome movie in itself, by the way. But Peter is reluctant to take up the responsibility and asked them to go for Thor or Captain Marvel. But Nick Fury knows what he is doing. Peter Parker is terrified of filling the shoes of Tony Stark, but he can't fail the man who sacrificed everything so the world would keep spinning. Fury can manipulate this kid in a way that he couldn't possibly do with the other remaining Avengers. Fury is training this kid to be the weapon he needs, and this method tracks with how Fury brought the Avengers together in the first place. Parker claims that he's only a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and Fury fires back with,
bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
Mysterio agrees with the Parker. He zips and zaps around, flashing his green light and rocking that gorgeous fishbowl helmet. He's a lot of bold talk. Saving the world requires sacrifice, yeah. No way we can trust him. We cannot trust anything that comes out of Beck's mouth. He's Mysterio, one of the original big bads from the Amazing Spider-Man comic run. Then here, Peter can be seen to wear the same AI Friday-equipped glasses as Tony Stark in Infinity War. Parker stands in front of an Iron Man shrine. If you look closely at the wall graffiti, you can see that Tony's face inside the Iron Man helmet. Although Jake Gyllenhaal is appearing as Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, unlike his comic book counterpart, he will not be a villain. Or maybe that's what the studio is trying to make us believe. Instead, he will help the web slinger battle strange creatures called elementals, 3 of which we saw wreaking havoc in the first Far From Home trailer. However, thanks to some subtle Easter eggs, it's been confirmed that these 3 elementals aren't faithful adaptations of the elementals from the comics, but in fact versions of Sandman, Molten Man, and Hydro-Man. Here, Mysterio can be seen fighting this giant monster. A cut shot to this scene show us a car with number plate 2865 SEP, which is reference to the Amazing Spider-Man number 28, released in September 1965 and introduced Mark Raxton aka Molten Man. Other elemental hints can be tracked down to the first teaser trailer, which was released 3 months ago. In this scene here, we can clearly see written ASM212 in the background. The ASM212 refers to the Amazing Spider-Man number 212, the comic book that Maurice Bench aka Hydro-Man debuted in. The third one can be seen in this scene where Nick Fury and Mariah Hill can be seen shooting a giant earth monster. The car in front have a number plate with 463 written on it, referring when Sandman first showed up in Marvel Comics. In 1963's The Amazing Spider-Man number 4. Sandman was previously played on the big screen by Thomas Hayden Church in 2007's Spider-Man 3. It's also possible that the elemental versions of Sandman, Molten Man, and Hydro-Man are actually human, and that their transformations are a part of a larger scheme masterminded by Mysterio. Well, whether he's actually from another Earth or just masterminding everything to portray Spidey as a villain and himself as the hero to fill in the blank space after Iron Man, it will all be clear when Spider-Man Far From Home swings into theater on July 5th. And in the end, this musical score is a tribute to the 1960s Spider-Man theme song. It still gives me goosebumps. Maybe I'll try to make a cover of this song in future. Well, stay tuned for that. As always, thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more such awesome content. Peace.